Grand evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, November 26th, 2025, and it is 1900 hours and 5 minutes in the evening, Central Standard Time. And we have some code red breaking news to talk about here tonight. Definitely code red level. Nearly code black, the highest. This is initially a live stream recording that is posted to my YouTube channel, Phil_Prepper01 on YouTube. Okay, so, and this is also the only YouTube channel that I post to and do these videos. All others, if any, are fake. This is the only YouTube channel that I have and post to. I also would like to point out, I know I've been talking about donation links. As for PayPal, I put it in the description. I had to make a new business page for the PayPal donations. Eventually, I'll be adding some other things for other services on there, spiritual and preparedness. Okay, so we're going to get right into the news here in a moment. Let's see. Stand by one moment. Okay. 1 second. All right. So we're going to continue on with the news here. We're going to get into the news. We're going to start right here with this Polymarket post on X. Tucker Carlson finally said something right for once. He's been way off for a while now. Tucker Carlson says the US dollar is doomed. He is 100% correct on that. I've been saying this for years. Tucker Carlson himself has now come out and said that the US dollar is backed by nothing. It used to be the petrodollar backed by oil more. It's not even backed by that anymore. If I remember correctly, that stopped possibly over a year ago. It was some time ago that the dollar stopped being backed by physical assets such as especially gold. That stopped many, many years ago. After that, it just became the petrodollar, which it has been backed by oil. We have this here from Leading Report. Unemployed Americans with 4-year college degrees now make up a record 25.3% of unemployment. That's also from Bloomberg. That's insane news right there. Very, very concerning. Also, another truth right out into the mainstream. College, in my opinion, is not useful for most people unless they're going to be a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, some kind of surgical assistant or traveling surgeon. Um, Not much more than that. Or to learn how to run like a family business a little better with college. College is not worth it for most people. I would say 8 or 9 out of 10 should not go to college. Trade school is much more useful for most people. I believe even younger people uh, should learn trades from quite a young age. The knowledge related to trades should be learned like with younger like children, and then they should get into doing trades, start learning different trades as they grow into the ability of doing that work. And then they could graduate from like a trade school, more of that nature. That's the way to go more with the masses when it comes to schools, I would say, is to have them learn knowledge of trades, then get into working trades, then they could graduate knowing how to do one trade or more since they've been learning and doing that stuff for years potentially in theory there. So that's what I recommend as for more of a mainstream education when it comes to trades and things like that. Uh, we should learn. Younger people should definitely learn trades and spirituality about things like that more. Doing researching and doing theological subjects and knowledge, just gaining knowledge about the truths and learning more about spirituality for years. That should also be taught to many at young ages, especially. I recommend that personally. Uh, this goes into one thing after the other. Instead of them learning religions and getting indoctrinated into that and like indoctrinated and stuck in that, like Catholicism, younger people should be learning about things spiritual, the truths, and other knowledge, especially as they get older. The discovery and the learning of new knowledge is such an important thing in this reality, this world, especially. Moving on from that, that could go on for quite a while. All great recommendations, I would say, personal recommendations. So, make your own choices, though. That is not entirely up to me. Those were just personal recommendations. Now, continuing on with the news, this is huge. This is tremendous news. I can't express that enough. It's hard to put into words this right here. So this is from the White House. The Genesis mission is wiring together the world's most powerful supercomputers, cutting edge AI, and exclusive data sets across every major scientific field to double American research speed and impact in just 10 years. Some reason they say 10 years. Um, that's interesting. Hopefully, it's a lot sooner and more immediate. We need all of that right now. We needed that the last few years or so. It should have been going on the last few years. So that's huge for humanity and American progress, American research progress. Tremendous news. One of the best things I've seen in a while. The Genesis mission. We have this here. Let's see. Taiwan must be ready for combat by 2027, the president warns, saying China is preparing to seize the island by force. That was from Sky News, and it was also reported from the Insider paper. So Taiwan is totally preparing for war with China. I've pointed that out in some recent videos. I've been saying this for a long time now. China is going to invade Taiwan. Taiwan must be ready, I would say, far before 2027. That's the latest, the furthest they should be ready is 2027. That's exactly right. They must be ready by 2027, the absolute latest. It's likely going to happen far before that. It could likely happen within the next 17 months or the next definitely within the next 27 months, that's for certain. I would say it's going to happen within the next 27 months. So we'll see what happens with that. There's a lot of training, a lot of news coming from Taiwan. They are totally preparing for for the Chinese to invade their country, their independent country. Taiwan is its own country. Taiwan is also a massive ally to many NATO countries. We have serious alliances with Taiwan. When China decides to invade and move forward with that on Taiwan, many NATO countries, including the US, I'm sure will be there to defend Taiwan. Moving on with that, from that. So we had a cluster of earthquakes that struck near Gilroy, California. That was from the USGS. I think that's the US Geographical Survey. Um, there's been a lot more earthquakes in that area. There's been lots more earthquakes all throughout the planet. Uh, Hundreds of earthquakes recently all throughout the planet due to the coronal mass ejections from the sun and the geomagnetic storms. Those have been increasing the earthquakes and the volcanic eruptions all throughout the planet. There was a volcano that erupted in Ethiopia for the first time in 12,000 years. Massive volcanic explosion it was over there in Ethiopia. So, as for California, I do believe the San Andreas fault, that whole situation is going to happen soon, where LA pretty much gets, not pretty much, it gets put underwater either by a massive tsunami or just sinking downwards from the earthquakes causing it. So LA is very likely going to either sink or get wiped out and put underwater that way by massive tsunamis that are caused from a potentially 11.0 magnitude earthquake or higher on the scale. So I don't recommend anyone to live in especially Southern California these days. It's not a good idea. I do expect that massive 11.0 or higher magnitude earthquake to happen within the next few years tops. It's ramping up more and more. It's looking like it'll happen within the next year. I'll say the next few years, though it's very likely to happen within the next year. That magnitude 11 or higher earthquake that sinks a large part of California. We have this here, more economic news from the unusual whales and feeding America. The average monthly price of groceries in the U.S. for a family of four has gone up to $1,030, an all-time high. So once again, that was also from Feeding America. Huge news, very concerning news on that one. Just a family of four. There's families of 7 and 8 out there. $1,030. That's the average. A lot of places are higher, very few are lower. A family of four, over $1,000. Just says a monthly price. So they're spending hundreds of dollars each time they go to the store to get groceries and supplies like that. Hundreds of dollars each time. Family of four. Yeah, that's on the lower side. That's as low as they could report for that number. It's, I would say it's closer to 2,000 for a lot of families. Maybe not that high, but definitely closer to 1,500. Family of four we're talking about there. So that number is definitely on the low side, I would say. Reported on the low side. It's still very, very high, though that's reported likely much lower than it really is. Manipulated statistics. Most statistics, especially economic ones like that, are totally manipulated. So we have this here from Breaking 9/11 or Breaking 911. Such a strange name. So we have multiple law enforcement officials that told CBS News the suspect in today's attack on two National Guard members in downtown Washington, D.C. He has been identified as 29-year-old Afghan national Rahmanullah Lakhanwal, who entered the U.S. in 2021. That's a bizarre name. He's from Afghanistan, which Afghanistan is run by the Taliban now. It was shortly after that it got totally taken over by the Taliban, or it might have even been that year. So this guy, we'll see if he has some relation to the Taliban and connections. Maybe large parts of his family are in the Taliban. So we'll see what other news comes out about that. This guy shot two National Guard members. They are in critical condition. They might not even make it. They were, at one point, they thought they were dead, those two National Guard members. Uh, I've heard last that they're in critical condition and slowly recovering at this time. That's going to increase a lot more, unfortunately, when it comes to radical Muslim terrorists and things of that nature, just due to more Taliban sleeper cells, I'm sure there is in this country. It's a high likelihood. Al Qaeda, we have cartels that have infiltrated the country, the United States. There's Russian and Chinese and even Iranian sleeper cells out there somewhere too. So we're going to see more sleeper cell activations coming up, especially more radical Muslim terrorism. We'll see what happens with that. I do expect more sleeper cell activations from the more official countries like Russia, China, Iran. Those could be activated more to take out, say, the power grid and target critical infrastructure. I'm sure they'll probably do that soon, especially if Ukraine ends up using Tomahawk missiles to do those deep strikes on Russia. Now, as for Venezuela, Maduro is trying to get all of his people together. He's trying to throw all the civilians, even. He's trying to get the whole entirety of Venezuela to defend him and his cartels. Talk about uh, corrupt, evil, socialist dictator. He should be surrendering. Venezuela does not. Their military does not stand a chance. And so much of their military, again, is corrupt. Their cartel run. Maduro, the president of Venezuela, is totally connected to the cartels there in Venezuela. That's one of the largest reasons the U.S. Navy and U.S. Special Forces are going into Venezuela, is to stop the evil corruption and that socialist dictator Maduro and the drugs that flow through Venezuela and Colombia and Mexico into this country. It's to stop all that. Keep on preparing. World War III is very much ongoing. It is getting more and more escalatory. Russia and China, it is not yet confirmed, may even get involved when it comes to the U.S. trying to deal with Venezuela in a military sense, or however it may be dealt with. I do hope Venezuela is liberated from that socialist dictator in time and those cartels. All of South America deserves liberation from those evil cartels. and socialism that spread in such a bad way through South America and Mexico. Keep on preparing. I always recommend physical assets, though that is your personal decision. When I talk about physical assets, I do mean gold, silver, land, ammunition, food such as freeze dried food. Stock up on all of that. And I have been forgetting water. Water is a great thing to stock up on. There's containers and the like that can be bought so that water can even be stocked up on. They do have some longer term storage containers for water that can be bought, and there's systems that can be put together for that as well. Water filters are also a great and highly important thing to have. That's another thing that is not as thought about. Water filters, they could be used in lakes, rivers, ponds, by waterfalls, streams that are deep enough. Those life straws may even work on a stream, though that's not a sponsor. Those may work on a stream, things like that. Water filters are so important. Physical assets are immensely important for when it hits the fan. It's a matter of when things hit the fan. Love, light, and blessings to you all. I will be back soon with another update. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope to see you all soon on the next one.